The seal of heaven remained, and at the end he fulfilled what was spoken over him. You too carry this unseen seal. It is why doors that others walk through easily may remain shut for you. It is why certain temptations cut deeper in your spirit than in others. It is why your conscience speaks louder. You are not permitted to blend in because you were not designed for ordinary. Imagine a violin hidden in a dusty attic. To most, it looks like an old piece of wood with strings. But to a master musician, it is a Stradivarius rare, priceless, unmatched. That violin cannot be used casually because its sound is sacred. In the same way, your life is not common. You are a vessel of rare sound, and heaven has marked you to carry a frequency that shifts atmospheres. You may question why suffering was allowed, why battles were harder for you than others. But understand this, pressure reveals design. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Olive oil flows only when the fruit is crushed. Your pain is not wasted. It is producing something eternal, something powerful, something that confirms the seal upon you. So as you reflect on your journey, do not despise the struggles of your early years, the misunderstandings, or the moments you felt overlooked. They were all part of your hidden preparation. Heaven's whisper marked you before birth, and no force on earth has the authority to unmark what God has sealed. Chosen one, walk with this awareness. You are a continuation of heaven's plan, not a random page in history. Your very life is proof that God's designs never fail and his purposes always stand. And though you may not fully see it yet, every detail of your journey is unfolding exactly as heaven designed. You are hidden so you could be revealed at the right time. You are preserved so you could be released with power. The mark upon you is eternal, and the unveiling has only just begun. You have carried the sting of being misunderstood, the ache of rejection, the weight of silence. People walked away, not because you were unworthy, but because heaven was preserving you. If you had been embraced everywhere, your heart might have been diluted by the expectations of men. Instead, God allowed certain doors to close, not to punish you, but to protect the purity of what he placed within you. Think back on the moments when you were overlooked. Others were chosen while you were passed by. You wondered why you cried in secret. Yet behind that veil of disappointment, heaven's hand was shielding you. Sometimes rejection is divine redirection. Sometimes silence is God's strategy to prevent voices from shaping your destiny too soon. The ancient words in the Gospel of John chapter 15 verse 16 remind us, you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last. Many of you see it. You were chosen not by the applause of men, but by the decree of heaven. And because of that, what you carry is not fragile, not temporary. The fruit that comes from your life will outlast every critic, every wound, and every rejection. There is a story of Hannah who prayed in anguish for a child. She was mocked, misunderstood, even accused of drunkenness by the priest. But she was not drunk. She was pouring her soul before the Lord. Heaven heard her prayer, and in time, she birthed Samuel, a prophet who changed Israel's history. What looked like shame was actually the soil of breakthrough. Chosen one, your pain has been a womb. Your tears have watered the ground of your destiny. What others called weakness, heaven calls preparation. What others thought was the end, heaven declares as the beginning. Imagine a pearl. It is formed only when an oyster suffers irritation from a grain of sand. The pain becomes a process of beauty. The very thing that wounded it becomes the source of treasure. Your rejection has been your pearl-making process. Heaven has been turning your wounds into wonders. Now I ask you to do something simple yet powerful. Write in the comments, chosen and kept. And why these 3 words? Because they declare the unseen truth of your journey. You are not just chosen. You were preserved. You were kept from destruction, kept from settling for less, kept for a destiny that could not be erased. Every closed door was heaven's shield. Every delay was heaven's timing. By typing it, you align yourself with the reality that no rejection can undo the seal God has placed on your life. So let those who mocked watch. Let those who doubted observe. For your rising will be undeniable. And when it happens, they will know it was not man who preserved you. It was God, chosen one. Never despise Rajix. It is heaven's way of setting you apart. Rejection can feel like a wound that never fully heals. It leaves questions lingering in the heart. Why wasn't I enough? Why didn't they see my value? But what you must understand is this. Heaven saw what they could not. God removed you from certain places because he knew the soil there would not allow your seed to grow. Think of a gardener. When he sees a young plant struggling in poor soil, he lifts it out and replants it where it can thrive. To the plant, the uprooting feels like pain. But to the gardener, it is salvation. Your rejection was God's replanting. He has been moving you into the soil of destiny where your roots can go deep and your fruit can last. Another truth is this. Being misunderstood is often the badge of the chosen. Prophets were laughed at, mocked, and dismissed. Jeremiah was thrown into a system. Elijah fled from threats. Paul was stoned and imprisoned. Yet history remembers their obedience, not the opinions of those who rejected them. You stand in that same lineage. To be misunderstood by men is often the clearest evidence of being understood by God. And though it hurt, those seasons have purified you. They forced you to listen to heaven's voice above the noise of man's approval. If everyone had accepted you, you might have mistaken popularity for purpose. But the silence and rejection stripped away illusions until only God's whisper remained. So lift your head, chosen one. Let your scars remind you not of weakness, but of survival. You are here, preserved, still breathing, still marked. Heaven has kept you, and because of that you will walk forward stronger, wiser, and unshakable. Your rejection is not your identity. It is your testimony, and one day you will look back and realize being misunderstood was the very thing that made you unstoppable. You have often wondered why the weight on your shoulders feels so much heavier than what others carry. While others move lightly through life, you find yourself battling burdens that no one sees. And yet, it is precisely this weight that reveals you are chosen, the responsibility you feel. The inner battles you face are not ordinary. They are marks of a destiny too significant to be carried lightly. The truth is the weight you carry has been shaping you into the person you were meant to become. Every sleepless night, every private battle, every silent cry has added strength to your spirit. You may think of these burdens as punishment, but they are evidence of preparation. Heaven does not waste time preparing those who are not called. The depth of your struggle is a reflection of the height of your calling. Consider Moses. He carried the weight of his people's suffering long before he had the authority to lead them. He walked among them, saw their pain, felt their oppression. That burden broke his heart until he could no longer ignore it. And though his journey took him through deserts and doubts, the weight he carried was the very proof of his chosenness. The same is true for you. You feel deeply because you are designed to carry deeply. While others are indifferent, you are stirred. While others ignore pain, you sense the cries of the broken. That is why your heart feels heavier. It is tuned to heaven's frequency. The voice of God thunders in the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 7. I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. If God himself sees, hears, and feels the suffering of his people, then how much more will those he chooses carry that same burden? The heaviness you feel is not yours alone. It is a reflection of God's heart beating within you. Picture a bridge stretched across a raging river. The bridge bears the weight of every traveler, every cart, every storm. Yet the bridge was built for this. Its strength is proven by the weight it carries. In the same way, your life has carried weight to prove the strength heaven placed inside you. Yes, the burden feels lonely. Others may not see it, may not understand why your shoulders sag under pressures they never experience. But heaven says, angels record, and one day that same weight will transform into authority. What crushed you in private will empower you in public. Think of David before he ever held a crown. He carried the weight of a nation's destiny on the battlefield. Alone with a slingshot, he faced a giant while others trembled. That single moment revealed what had already been forming in him during years of unseen battles with lions and bears. His private struggles had prepared him for a public victory. So it is with you. The battles you fight in silence. The burdens you shoulder when no one notices are not wasted. They're sharpening you, shaping you, molding you into a vessel that can carry influence and glory without collapsing under the pressure. And though at times you have cried out, asking why your path seems harder than others, remember this. Heaven does not place heavy armor on those who are not warriors. The fact that you carry much is proof that you were designed for much. Your pain has given birth to compassion. Your struggle has given you eyes to see what others ignore. Your scars are not signs of weakness, but of survival. They are the evidence that though the weight was heavy, you endure it. And because you endured, you are being prepared to lift others when their strength fails. Chosen one, never despise the weight you carry. It is the mark of heaven's trust in you. What feels like a burden today will be revealed as the crown of tomorrow. The crown you will wear tomorrow is being forged in the weight you carry today. Every trial, every hidden battle is hammering strength into your spirit like fire-shaped steel. Without the fire, the blade remains dull. Without the weight, the crown has no foundation. And remember, you were not chosen to collapse under this. You were chosen because heaven already saw you would endure. You may stumble, but you will not break. You may bend, but you will not shatter. So carry the weight with faith. In due time, what feels like heaviness will be revealed as glory, and every tear will be redeemed. From a moment you were marked as chosen, darkness has been aware of you. Even when you were unaware of yourself, unseen realms already knew the power you carried. That is why the battles have been fierce, why resistance has shadowed your steps. It was never because you were weak. It was because hell feared the light within you. Have you ever noticed how moths rush to a flame? They're drawn to the light even though it burns them. Darkness reacts the same way. When you shine, it cannot help but fight against you. But what it does not understand is this. The more it fights, the brighter your flame grows. Hell has studied you, watched you, and trembled because your very existence threatens its plans. Your prayers disrupt its strategies. Your presence in a room shifts the atmosphere. Your survival alone is a testimony that destroys lies. That is why the attacks came so strong. They were designed to silence what heaven placed inside you. But you endured. And because you endured, your light now stands taller. It was recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. And let that sink in. The weapons may form, but they cannot prosper. The accusations may rise, but they will fall powerless. The darkness may shout, but it cannot drown out the light that burns within you. Think about Daniel in the lion's den. The darkness of death surrounded him. The roar of lions echoed in his ears. Yet the light of his faith silenced their hunger. That same protection is wrapped around you. You walk with the same unshakable covering. And now, chosen one, as you hear these words, let me ask you for something, not as a demand, not as a condition, but as an invitation. If these messages are food to your soul, then consider how you might help prepare the table for others. When you like this message, it is as if you are striking a match in a dark valley. That single spark might be small, but it can ignite torches in the hands of others who have been stumbling without light. When you share this message, you are casting a stone into a still pond. The ripples move outward, touching distant shores. You may never see someone broken, someone forgotten, someone on the edge. Your ripple might be the very wave that reaches them. When you subscribe, it is like tying a red thread around your finger, a reminder that you're connected to something eternal that you will not forget and you will not be forgotten. It keeps you tethered to the flow of heaven's whispers that come again and again. And when you donate, it is not a demand. It is planting a lantern along a path you may never walk. Others will follow that road. And because of your lantern, they will not stumble. Your gift is not lost. It becomes light that continues long after you have given it. Think of it this way. Your life has already been a light others could see. Every act of support, whether through your attention, your sharing, your subscription, or your giving, becomes an extension of that light. It multiplies what God is already doing through you. There's no pressure here. There's only invitation. And even if you never give a single coin, the word spoken over you remains the same. You are chosen, and darkness fears your light. So let your heart lead you. Like, share, subscribe, or give only as your spirit feels free. Never bound. Because the true offering heaven desires is your obedience, your faith, and your willingness to shine. Chosen one, never forget hell feared your rising before you even knew you could stand. And now that you are rising, nothing can put out your flame. Your flame was never meant to remain hidden. What once flickered in secret is now becoming a torch. And that torch will light the way for others who feel trapped in shadows. Darkness cannot comprehend the courage it took for you to survive, nor can it extinguish what heaven has ignited. Every scar you carry is a spark. Every tear is oil for the fire. Do not despise your journey, for it has made your light impossible to ignore, chosen one. Your rising is not for yourself alone. It is for generations yet to come, for lives you will never meet, and for stories heaven is still writing. There comes a point when hesitation becomes dangerous. You stand at that threshold now. Delay has a cost, and procrastination is not neutral. It is a thief. Every time you postpone what heaven asks of you, something unseen is lost. Opportunities close. Hearts remain unreached, and destinies wait in silence. Chosen one, the time for waiting is over. Consider the people of Israel at the edge of the promised land. They were delivered from Egypt, guided by fire and cloud. Yet when the moment of entering came, fear seized them. They delayed. That delay cost them 40 years in the wilderness. A whole generation lost what could have been theirs simply because they hesitated at the threshold. Delay is not safety. It is disobedience disguised as caution. Heaven has given you signs, confirmations, whispers, even dreams. Yet still you wrestle. Still you wait for perfect timing. But there is no perfect time outside obedience. The moment God speaks is the moment heaven has aligned circumstances for your step. To delay is to step out of alignment. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 95, verse 7. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Notice the urgency. Today, not tomorrow. Not someday when you feel ready today. The whisper of heaven carries weight for this very moment. To harden your heart with hesitation is to risk missing the window appointed for your rising. Think of a soldier standing at the edge of battle. His commander gives the order to advance if he waits. Even a few moments, the opportunity is gone. The enemy regroups and the cost is heavy. The command was not given for later. It was meant for now. You too stand under such a command. Heaven has issued the order for your next step. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young woman with a stirring in her heart to begin a work that would impact her community. For years, she felt the call, but she hesitated, doubting her capacity, waiting for perfect conditions. Others told her she was too young, too unprepared. But one day she could wait no longer. She began with what little she had, and in time that small beginning became a refuge for many, a light in her city. Had she delayed longer, countless lives would have remained untouched. Her story is a mirror to yours. The choice is not about comfort, it is about destiny. Delay is also a deception of the enemy. Darkness whispers, wait until you're stronger. Wait until circumstances are better. Wait until you feel worthy. But the truth is worthiness does not come from your readiness. It comes from heaven's choosing. If God has spoken, then readiness is already written into his command. Imagine a door swinging open in front of you. It will not remain open forever. Doors are seasonal, appointed for specific times. To hesitate is to watch that door close. But to step through in faith is to discover that provision, strength, and guidance are already waiting on the other side. So I speak this to you with love and urgency. Do not delay. Every moment matters. Every act of obedience counts. Heaven has aligned this very season for your rising. Now I invite you to seal this word with a prophetic act. Write in the comments 444. Oh, why this number? Because in Scripture the number 4 is often connected to seasons, directions, and foundations. The 4 winds, the 4 corners of the earth, the 4 rivers of Eden. By writing 444, you declare, "My foundations are being set. It's my season. I won't wait any longer." Superstition is not what this is. It is alignment. Just as Israel had to step when the cloud moved, so you must step when the Spirit stirs. By commenting 444, you are not pleasing me. You are echoing heaven's command back into the earth. Delay has robbed enough of your years. Do not give it another moment. Step forward, because your obedience today opens doors that hesitation will only close. Chosen one, the time is now. Understand this clearly. Hesitation is not only about you. When you delay, others are left waiting for the light you carry. Somewhere someone is praying for an answer, and that answer is tied to your obedience. Your step forward is not simply personal. It is generational. Think of Esther. Her decision to act saved an entire nation if she had delayed, if she had remained silent. Deliverance might have come from somewhere else, but she would have missed her moment. The same is true for you. So let this truth settle in your spirit. Obedience today shapes tomorrow's victories. Your yes now is the seed of breakthrough for countless others. Delay no longer, the time is already upon you. There is something sacred about hidden seasons. The world may overlook them, but heaven values them deeply. These are the times when you feel unseen, when doors remain closed, when progress seems silent. And yet it is in these very seasons that heaven is training you, shaping you, refining you into a vessel that can carry glory without breaking. Consider David in the fields before he ever faced Goliath. Before he ever held the crown of Israel, he spent years with sheep. The world would have dismissed it as wasted time. But heaven saw those fields as his training ground alone with the flock. He learned courage in the face of lions and bears. He learned faithfulness in obscurity, worship in solitude, and skill with his sling. The very things that seemed small prepared him for a moment of greatness. Your hidden seasons are the same. They may look ordinary to others, but they are extraordinary in heaven's eyes. Every lonely night, every private battle, every unseen act of obedience is forming strength in you. The silence is not punishment. It is protection. Heaven keeps you hidden until you are ready and until the world is ready to receive what you carry. The writings of the apostle in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 11, remind us no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful later on. However, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. No, do you see the pattern? Discipline and training rarely feel comfortable, but they prepare a harvest, a future that outweighs every moment of struggle. Heaven does not waste your wilderness. Every test, every delay, every silence is shaping your foundation. Think of a sword in the making. The blacksmith places the raw metal in a fire again and again, striking it, shaping it, cooling it, and repeating the process to the metal. The fire feels destructive. The hammer feels harsh. But to the blacksmith, it is creation. Without fire, the blade is weak. Without hammering, the edge is dull. Your hidden seasons have been the forge, and you are the blade being refined. Another image, a seed beneath the soil for weeks, maybe months. It leaves unseen. No one notices it. But beneath the surface, roots are forming. Strength is building. The soil that hides the seed is the same soil that protects it until the right moment to break forth. That is your story. What looked like burial was actually planting. Even Jesus himself walked through hidden years. 30 years of silence before 3 years of public ministry. The Son of God working in obscurity, learning obedience, being shaped in secret. Heaven does not rush. Heaven prepares. Perhaps you look at your own life and feel the sting of delay. You see others advancing while you remain unseen. But understand, comparison blinds you to the purpose of your process. Their path is not your path. Their pace is not your pace. What heaven is building in you requires depth, and depth takes time. Think also of Joseph. Long before he stood as ruler of Egypt, He was hidden in prison, forgotten by men, yet remembered by God. His prison was not wasted. It was the place where his gift of interpreting dreams was sharpened, the place where his humility was refined, the place where heaven positioned him for sudden elevation. So it is with you. Hiddenness does not mean abandonment. Silence does not mean absence. It means heaven is still preparing the stage. And when the curtain lifts, you will be ready because you were trained in secret to stand in strength. Chosen one, let peace settle into your spirit. Your hidden seasons have not been wasted years. They have been wombs of destiny, sacred places where heaven has prepared you away from the noise of the crowd. And when the time comes, your unveiling will carry weight, authority, and power that cannot be shaken. Think of the eagle long before it soars above storms. It spends weeks in the nest, wings strengthening unseen. The waiting is not wasted. It is the foundation for flight. Your hidden season has been that nest, a place of strengthening that others could not see. And like clay on the potter's wheel, you have been spun, pressed, and reshaped. The process felt endless, but every turn has brought definition soon. The vessel will be unveiled, carrying glory that could not be entrusted to something untested. So rest in this truth. Hiddenness is not failure. It is heaven's assurance that you are still in process. And when the time of unveiling arrives, you will not emerge fragile, but forged, ready to shine. Every tear you have shed, every sigh you have breathed in silence, every night you have lain awake with questions, none of it has been forgotten. Heaven's surveillance is not like the cold gaze of the world, which watches to judge. Heaven watches with compassion, with intention, with purpose. Angels have been dispatched not only to record, but to guard, to carry your cries into the presence of the Almighty. The thought that no one noticed your struggle is a lie. The truth is your struggle has been documented in eternity. Each whispered prayer has been gathered like incense, each tear stored like treasure. You may have thought they evaporated into nothingness, but heaven holds them still. The writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8. Speak clearly. Record my misery. List my tears on your scroll. Are they not in your record? This is no metaphor. It is reality. Heaven truly keeps account of what you endure. Not one drop of your pain has been wasted. It has all been woven into the story. Heaven is writing about your life. Consider Hagar wandering in the desert, cast aside alone with her child. She believed no one saw her. No one cared. Yet the angel of the Lord met her by a spring of water and declared that the Lord had heard her misery. She named that place the God who sees me. You too can say the same in your loneliest deserts. You are never unseen. Imagine a watchtower high above a battlefield. Soldiers fight below. Dust recesses. Confusion fills the air. But from the watchtower, every movement is clear. That is how heaven sees your life while you feel lost in the dust of struggle. Heaven's perspective remains perfect. Nothing escapes its gaze. And think of an artist sketching in a notebook. Every line matters. Every shade has meaning. The artist does not miss a single detail because each part contributes to the whole masterpiece. That is how God regards your life. Every detail, every struggle, every victory is part of the canvas. There is comfort in knowing this, but there is also weight. If heaven records every tear, then heaven also records every moment of faith, every act of kindness, every choice to keep walking when it would have been easier to give up. None of it disappears into obscurity. All of it is remembered. All of it is honored. Sometimes you may feel invisible to those around you. Friends may overlook you. Family may misunderstand you. Even those you helped may forget you. But heaven's memory is perfect. What men forget, God remembers. What men dismiss, God esteems. Think again of Joseph when he interpreted dreams in prison. He asked to be remembered by the cupbearer, but the cupbearer forgot. 2 years passed in silence. Yet heaven had not forgotten at the right moment. The memory of Joseph's gift was stirred, and he was brought into the presence of Pharaoh. Men may forget you, but heaven never will. Even your smallest sacrifices matter. The quiet choices you made to forgive. The hidden generosity no one saw. The prayers whispered in secret. All have been written down. They form a record that will one day testify of your faith. And there is more. Heaven's surveillance is not passive. It is active. Angels do not simply watch. They intervene. How many accidents did you narrowly escape? How many times were you pulled back from danger you never even noticed? These are the unseen mercies of heaven, operating because you were chosen. Picture a child playing near a cliff. The child is unaware of the danger, but the parent watches carefully, ready to act at the first misstep. That is how heaven has watched over you. Countless times you have been preserved by interventions you could not see. So let this truth settle deeply within you. You are never unseen. Your pain is never unnoticed. Your faith is never forgotten. Heaven has recorded it all, and in time, what was recorded in secret will be revealed in glory. Chosen one, the eyes of heaven are always upon you, not to condemn, but to cherish, to guide, to preserve. And that is why you're still here today. And remember this, what heaven has seen in secret, heaven will honor in its time. The tears you cried in the dark will become the oil that lights your future. The prayers you whispered in weakness will echo back as strength. Nothing is wasted, nothing forgotten. Every hidden moment is a building stone in the testimony you are becoming. So walk with quiet confidence, even if no human eye notices. The eyes of the eternal do, and in that gaze your worth is secure forever.